Welcome to Baseball Card Illustrated, the channel where we discuss our national pastime and it's illustrated with baseball cards. I'm Bronco, the PSA 11.
And I'm Kevin, the Cubert of the broadcast / baseball card industry.
Wow.
I just jumped from square to square.
And this is Through the Mail Thursday, where we send cards of our cardboard heroes that we find on Sunday's weekly Big Show in hopes of getting them back with an autograph. And this week, we've got 4 players that responded, but it's actually more than 4 cards. How about that?
Oh, you got multiples. Share the wealth.
I don't know if we're going to keep doing the count here week after week, but it's been fun. Anyway, our first card comes back from Mark Thurmond with what... I keep looking at this card and it looks like there's an X through his name. Like, I'm not really Mark Thurmond.
That's something. You can tell that probably on a plane ride or on a, during a rain delay in the clubhouse, he was playing around and could see that he could do some sort of fun stuff with his name, because it's crossed off near the top and it almost has a little bit of a tic-tac-toe thing going on toward the bottom left, but you can tell he's worked a little bit on that. Mark Thurmond.
I'm going to say a left-handed reliever for the Orioles here in 1990 as we continue to add to our 1990 score collection. One of these days I'm going to count these up. I think this is about 13 now, which sounds impressive until you consider that there's like 750 or whatever cards in the set.
There was a massive set. One of the first truly massive sets. I think Score at its height might have gotten to 900 cards. It was a little later.
I'm going to say the person that had season tickets at Three Rivers Stadium also had a card in that set, because I think they ran out of players at one point.
Obviously, Thurmond at this point here is pitching in very dire straits, in a dire situation, because this is 1990 Score, so he's pitching for the 1989 Baltimore Orioles.
So he was probably in distress.
Yeah, hang him upside down.
Let's be honest. Yeah. That's how things were for the Orioles back then.
The 88 Orioles was the team that I want to say they were 54 and 108 or something like that.
I'm going to say they lost 20 games to start the year, or something
crazy.
A losing streak that lasted almost a month.
And that's with 3 Ripkins on the roster. 3.
Unfortunately, Cal Sr. was playing at the time,
yes, Cal
at the
Sr.
age of 65.
Cal Sr. had to pitch, so he was the 3rd starter in the rotation. Thurmond is from Houston and works in the insurance business now, a business that his father started. But there's Texas native.
So he came on in relief of his dad in the family business?
Amazing! His dad was probably a righty, and once he was faltering a little bit, it was like, all right, son, here you go.
I think for the sake of everybody, we'll move on to this guy here, a Hall of Famer. Ryan Sandberg. Now, the thing about Ryan Sandberg, for those of you that may not have sent to him, is he does require a fee, but very, very reasonable for a Hall of Famer, just $5.
Oh, that you do that any day of the week. And this is, I don't know a ton about this, but I can tell you a couple of things. The design is 1985, but the background is very 2020.
Is that funny you say that? It's a 2020 card.
Yeah. So they've got that little 35th anniversary logo, which I can now see in there. So so I did call that right. It's a 2020, but it's sort of that chromish, glossy design. You probably see me in the background of it here looking at it. But it's that original design there is 1985, and that was honestly for the 80s. It's a really good design.
Oh yeah, I liked a lot of the designs from the 80s, as we talked about on the Big Show every Sunday.
Yeah.
But this was definitely one of the classics, and one of the things I always liked about it is I know it's not a pennant down there, but it always kind of looked like a pennant.
Yeah.
And then he had the nice logo there. It was easy to see the names. Just kind of a real classic design that I just don't think we necessarily have anymore.
I agree with that. And Topps used to, in the 80s, is when they first started throwing back the design. So when you talk about a pennant, those of you who know your baseball card history or have a Google machine near you, take a look 20 years before. 85 is copying to an extent 1965, which really did have a pennant on the front of the design. So if you look at 65 and 85, you'll see the similarities there, but I agree. Not to put you on the spot, favorite 80s design? And by the way, you can't say 89 Upper Deck just because...
I only think of Topps when it comes to the design,
right.
But certainly Upper Deck. Even the design was pretty good with the hidden stuff that they did there through the years, but I would probably have to go with 84.
84 is really good. That with the name down the left, Big block letters. I have two favorites. 87 is a classic because 62 is my favorite set of all time. The wood grain border, 87 was a copy of that. And 83, 1983, as time has gone on, has become one of my favorite designs. It's very simple, and it had a second picture in the corner of the player in a circle.
Yeah, and I think maybe that's one of the things I liked about 84 is they also had that bonus picture, I guess you'd call it.
The two-picture design on the front. So yeah, 83, 84, good era cards.
Moving on from Ryno, the Hall of Famer, Cubs legend, we got Jeff Reed, catcher for the Cincinnati Reds here in 1990.
So, and whatever is happening right now, someone is either trying to steal off of him and that mask is off, or...
So he's probably safe.
Yeah.
But it takes a long time to do all that.
Yeah, because if the mask is off, something has happened. Maybe he caught a pop foul and somebody's trying to run on it. Maybe that's what's going on there. But whatever it is, it's a great action shot.
I was going to say, last week we had, was it Jerry Reed, the relief pitcher?
Yeah.
Are they related at all?
I may have to look that up.
I know as the returns came in, I got a little bit confused as to which was which as I was trying to mark down how long the responses took to come in. But anyway, Jeff Reed, if I can remember the right one, catcher for the Reds there in an era where they were still pretty good. They had Sabo, Eric Davis.
Oh, yeah.
And some other guys, obviously. I know you're looking something up on him. What do you got here?
Oh, it's so there's a Scranton, Pennsylvania group that apparently was all about Jeff Reed during his career. Apparently there was a group of young fans that made him
the Reed family?
Yeah, probably. I wonder if their last name was all Reed, yeah. Apparently the motto of this fan club was, "We support the role playing Jeff Reed because in life, who among us is truly a superstar and how many of us are the role players?"
Ah, well, there you go.
And he did a good job. The 1990 Reds that you mentioned, great team, won a World Series.
I'm gonna say it doesn't really help if I'm just nodding along, but absolutely.
Yeah.
And then trying to prepare this next one here, we got quite the response from Billy Sample, and I know some of you out there. I'm trying to get this to stand up.
We might have to put a hand up.
Might have to
kind of hold this up. That's all right.
So basically we sent this card here, 1987 Topps, which was actually the very first episode of Baseball Card Illustrated we taped.
Yes.
And this response took a little bit of time, but definitely worth it, as we not only got that card, we got this nice response, which is a copy of a Sports Illustrated column that he had written in what'd you say it was, 1989?
I think it's 89.
And that's signed with a nice note, wishing us good luck here on the channel. And then he also added a little bonus card, which is also signed.
82 Topps, and that's double signed because the 82 was one of the last sets. It may be the last set to have the facsimile autograph.
I think it is, yeah.
Yeah, I remember.
Well, outside of like the Topps Heritage cards and things like that. But,
right.
Of the naturally released cards back in the day and through the years.
Because I remember as a little kid going back and getting some 82 cards and thinking, wait, this card's autographed. So is this one. So is this one. And then you realize.
Which was amazing when they didn't even have autographed cards in packs.
but
that was the pull of a lifetime right there.
Somehow I found it. That's 82 was a fun set, and of course earlier in his career, back when he was with the Texas Rangers, Billy Sample has had a long career after his playing career. He was a broadcaster for the Braves very briefly, for the Mariners, the Angels. He's done some other stuff. You mentioned the article that was published in Sports Illustrated. It's a very funny article, actually. It's good humor there. And I think he's done a little bit of film work as well.
And I believe he's written a book.
Sure enough, A Year in Pinstripes and Then Some, featuring the 1985 New York Yankees. See, and that's what a fascinating thing that is, because all the books about the Yankees are about, 1978 or the Mickey Mantle era, but 1985, they were in the middle of a drought for the Yankees.
I was going to say for sure. So Billy Sample with a great return, and really appreciate that, along with all the autographs we get back here.
How about that?
So anyway, we'd like to say thank you for watching this edition of Through the Mail Thursday, and to the 4 players nice enough to answer their mail, and for Billy Sample, who certainly went the extra mile for us here. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and give this video a thumbs up, and leave a comment down below. So on behalf of Billy Sample, Mark Thurmond, I don't know how well these are all going to stand up, I might drop all of them, but Jeff Reed, and Ryno, trying to get them where they all show up.
What a great mix.
I'm Bronco, the PSA 11.
And I'm Kevin, the 1985 guy living in a 2020 world.
And we'd like to thank our graphics guru Dylan for all his work on the channel as well. So long, everybody. You've been watching the Baseball Card Illustrated channel.